We may find a feature or features under the swamp road that may indicate why the stone road was constructed. I'd like to know every last bit of information that the swamp can give us, and hopefully that information goes towards the greater goal of solving the mystery.
It started with a single mysterious coin buried deep beneath an island that has guarded its secrets for more than 2 centuries. For generations, Oak Island has been the center of one of the world's greatest treasure hunts, a place filled with legends, hidden tunnels, unexplained discoveries, and a mystery that has refused to be solved. But now, everything may be changing. In Season 13, Episode 20, the team uncovers something that could rewrite the entire story of Oak Island. This isn't just another old artifact pulled from the ground. It's a discovery so significant, so unexpected, that it begins connecting clues researchers have been chasing for decades, pointing toward a treasure many believe could be worth more than $500 million. But here's the real twist. This mysterious coin may be far more than a valuable historical object. It could be the missing key, the one piece of evidence capable of revealing who created the island's underground system, why it was built, and whether the legendary treasure is finally within reach. Before we uncover every detail, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because we bring you the latest discoveries, hidden mysteries, and fascinating archaeological investigations from around the world. So, how did this remarkable discovery happen? What makes this coin different from every artifact found before? And could this finally be the breakthrough that brings an end to Oak Island's centuries-old mystery? Let's dive in. This version has a stronger YouTube hook, a natural subscribe CTA, and smoothly transitions into the architecture of discovery, how the tunnel was identified. The mysterious tunnel revealed in Episode 20 wasn't a lucky accident. It was the result of months of careful investigation, with every discovery made throughout the season leading the team one step closer to this moment. To understand why this finding is so important, you have to look at everything that came before it. By the time Episode 20 begins, the Lagina team has something no previous Oak Island expedition has ever possessed: a detailed 3-dimensional model of the island's underground layout. Each earlier discovery had added another crucial piece to the puzzle. The flood tunnel network mapped during Episode 16, the sealed underground structure confirmed nearly 100 feet below the surface, the horizontal void detected in Episode 18, and the multi-chamber complex identified through advanced scanning in Episode 19, all combined to reveal an increasingly clear picture of what lay beneath the island. Yet one important question remained unanswered. Although the underground chambers had been mapped with remarkable accuracy, the team still couldn't explain how the original builders reached them. If this elaborate system had been intentionally constructed centuries ago, there had to be an entrance connecting the surface to the hidden complex. The evidence collected throughout the season pointed toward an unexpected conclusion. The ancient cobblestone road discovered in the swamp appeared designed to move heavy materials across the island rather than straight downward. The horizontal cavity identified earlier was aligned across the underground system instead of alongside the main shaft. Even more revealing, the depth and geological conditions surrounding the chamber complex suggested that digging a massive vertical shaft with early construction methods would have been incredibly difficult. Everything pointed toward the same answer. Instead of digging directly downward, the original builders most likely created a gently sloping access tunnel that approached the underground chambers from the side. Such a design would have made construction far easier, while also allowing the entrance to be hidden once the work was complete. Using every scan, survey, and geological model collected during the season, the team specialists merged the data into a single underground reconstruction. As the software analyzed the information, it highlighted one location that perfectly matched the predicted route of a concealed tunnel running from the swamp area toward the underground complex. Surprisingly, this particular spot had received very little attention during previous investigations. When Episode 20 begins, the team heads directly to that location, unaware they are about to uncover one of the season's most significant discoveries. At first glance, the site appears completely ordinary. There are no unusual rock formations, no obvious depressions, and nothing visible to suggest that something extraordinary lies beneath the surface. It looks like any other quiet section of Oak Island, blending naturally into the surrounding landscape. But appearances can be deceiving. The moment ground-penetrating radar is deployed, the instruments reveal something impossible to ignore. Just below the surface, the scans detect a long, narrow horizontal void, extending away from the survey point, in exactly the direction predicted by the team's computer model. Even more striking is its shape. The passage displays straight, consistent dimensions that are far too regular to have formed naturally. Every measurement suggests deliberate engineering rather than geological chance. Encouraged by the results, the excavation crew begins exposing the area with extreme care. Surface layers are removed gradually using both heavy equipment and hand tools, while every stage is carefully documented to preserve any archaeological evidence that might emerge. As more of the entrance is uncovered, several remarkable details become clear. The first is that the opening wasn't buried by time or natural collapse. Instead, it appears to have been intentionally sealed. Layers of tightly packed earth and carefully placed stones fill the entrance in an organized pattern, strongly suggesting that the builders deliberately closed the passage after completing their work. The second observation is equally compelling. The material sealing the entrance shows no signs of disturbance. The soil layers remain perfectly intact, with their original stratigraphy preserved. Everything indicates that the entrance has remained unopened since the day it was intentionally closed, meaning whatever lies beyond could still be exactly as it was centuries ago. Finally, after clearing enough space to insert a small inspection camera, the team sends it into the darkness. Within moments, the live images appear on the monitor. What the camera captures leaves everyone standing in complete silence. The tunnel doesn't end after the entrance. As the inspection camera moves farther inside, it continues through a passage that appears remarkably well preserved. The walls remain solid, the floor is surprisingly clear, and the structure shows no obvious signs of collapse. Then, just as the camera reaches the edge of its viewing range, something unexpected happens. A faint object in the distance reflects the camera's light. That single reflection immediately captures everyone's attention. The footage recorded inside the tunnel during episode 20 is unlike anything seen in the history of the Oak Island investigation. It isn't because the video is crystal clear. It isn't. The camera is operating under difficult underground conditions, and visibility is limited. What makes the footage extraordinary is what it suggests lies ahead. The passage itself is an impressive example of early engineering. Its walls are lined with carefully shaped stone blocks assembled with remarkable precision. The craftsmanship closely resembles the worked stone discovered earlier in the season and reflects construction techniques commonly associated with medieval European builders. Despite the passage having existed for centuries, the stones remain tightly fitted together without the use of modern reinforcement or visible mortar. The tunnel ceiling is equally impressive. Instead of being flat, it forms a gentle arch, allowing the weight of the earth above to be distributed evenly. This architectural approach greatly reduces the risk of collapse and reflects engineering principles that were well understood by skilled builders long before modern construction methods existed. Even more surprising is the condition of the tunnel floor. Unlike many shafts on Oak Island that have repeatedly filled with water, this passage appears completely dry. There is no obvious evidence of flooding or significant water intrusion. That observation raises an important possibility. Either the builders intentionally designed this tunnel to avoid the famous flood system, ensuring they could always access it when needed, or they possess such a detailed understanding of the island's geology and groundwater that they carefully position the passage above the natural water flow. Both explanations are remarkable. If the tunnel was deliberately kept separate from the flood defenses, it suggests the builders expected to return one day and wanted a reliable entrance that would remain usable. If the design simply takes advantage of the island's natural geology, it demonstrates an extraordinary level of planning and engineering knowledge. But the greatest mystery still lies ahead. Near the end of the camera's viewing distance, roughly 60 feet from the entrance, a smooth surface briefly catches the camera's light. It doesn't resemble loose rock, compacted soil, or centuries of accumulated debris. Instead, it appears flat, regular, and intentionally placed. The entire team watches the monitor in complete silence. Then Marty Lagina quietly breaks the tension with words that instantly change the atmosphere. "I think we need to go in there today." Entering the tunnel, sending someone inside the newly discovered passage is not a decision made lightly. Before anyone enters, engineers carefully evaluate the tunnel's stability, while safety crews establish continuous communication with the surface.
Although the camera footage suggests the structure remains solid, everyone involved understands that Oak Island has a long history of turning promising discoveries into dangerous situations without warning. Once everything is approved, a team member carefully begins the journey underground. As he moves deeper into the passage, his observations become increasingly remarkable. The stonework remains perfectly consistent from one end of the tunnel to the other. Every section appears to have been built during the same construction project, following the same precise standards rather than being expanded or repaired over time. The passage itself seems intentionally designed for human use. It is wide enough to transport equipment or valuable cargo while remaining low enough to stay hidden beneath the surface for centuries. As the explorer continues forward, new details begin to emerge. At several points along the walls, carefully carved markings become visible. These aren't random scratches created by nature or damage caused over time. The cuts appear deliberate, repeating in organized patterns that strongly suggest they were made using metal tools by the original builders. Every symbol is photographed and documented for later examination. Although their meaning remains unknown, their intentional design is impossible to ignore. Then the explorer finally reaches the mysterious reflection. For a brief moment, the live communication becomes almost completely silent. Everyone waits. The source of the reflection soon comes into view. Standing directly across the tunnel is a large, solid barrier extending from wall to wall. It isn't natural rock, it isn't packed earth, and it clearly isn't part of the surrounding geology. The surface appears metallic. Darkened by age yet unmistakably made of metal, it fits perfectly within the dimensions of the passage. Every edge appears carefully engineered, creating what looks unmistakably like a sealed doorway positioned deep beneath Oak Island. The workmanship matches the precision seen throughout the tunnel. Whoever built this passage didn't simply close the end. They intentionally secured it. And they clearly wanted whatever lay beyond it to remain hidden. The explorer's voice remains calm, but the excitement is impossible to disguise. There's a door down here, an actual metal door, and I think there's empty space behind it. The question worth hundreds of millions. That single discovery transforms the investigation. A hidden tunnel ending at a sealed metal barrier immediately raises the question that has fueled the Oak Island mystery for generations. If there's a door, what does it protect? A doorway usually leads somewhere. A sealed barrier suggests a chamber. And a carefully hidden chamber, protected by sophisticated engineering and an elaborate underground system, implies that something valuable, or incredibly important, was intentionally placed beyond it. Could this finally be the location treasure hunters have searched for over 2 centuries? Or does the door conceal something even more surprising? Theories begin circulating almost immediately, but until the barrier is opened, one mystery remains unanswered. What is waiting behind the door? What could be hidden beyond the metal door? With the discovery of a hidden tunnel ending at what appears to be a sealed metal barrier, theories that once sounded like legends suddenly seem far more believable. For years, researchers have debated what Oak Island could be hiding, but now, for the first time, those possibilities appear connected to a physical structure that may actually exist beneath the island. Among the most discussed theories is the legendary treasure of the Knights Templar. According to historical accounts, the order accumulated immense wealth before it was dissolved in the early 14th century, after which much of its treasure seemingly disappeared without a trace. The scale of engineering revealed throughout this season, combined with medieval-style stonework and artifacts uncovered during previous investigations, has led many to wonder whether Oak Island could somehow be connected to that lost history. But the Templar theory is only one possibility. Some researchers believe the underground chambers may have been created to safeguard valuable archives belonging to the Knights of Malta. Others point toward early Portuguese or Venetian expeditions that may have crossed the Atlantic long before Columbus, potentially bringing wealth, documents, or important knowledge from Europe to an isolated location. Another theory suggests the site could have served as a secret storage complex funded by powerful governments or wealthy private investors involved in maritime trade and privateering. There are even those who believe the chambers may protect priceless religious relics, objects considered so sacred that medieval organizations would have gone to extraordinary lengths to keep them safe during periods of political turmoil across Europe. Whatever the truth may be, one thing seems increasingly clear. Constructing an underground complex of this size would have required enormous planning, skilled engineering, and significant resources. The hidden tunnel, the flood control system, the cobblestone roadway, the carefully built chambers, and centuries of deliberate concealment all suggest that whatever was placed there was considered valuable enough to justify an incredible effort. For years, researchers have estimated that the legendary Oak Island treasure could be worth more than $500 million. Standing at the entrance of a tunnel that appears to end at a sealed metal barrier with what may be an empty chamber beyond it, that estimate no longer feels like an impossible fantasy. Instead, it begins to seem like a realistic possibility, if something truly remains hidden beyond that door. Rick and Marty face the biggest moment of the search. One of the most memorable moments of episode 20 doesn't happen underground. It happens outside the tunnel. After the inspection footage has been reviewed and the mysterious barrier has been confirmed, the camera focuses on Rick and Marty Lagina, standing quietly together near the entrance. The moment is surprisingly emotional. For more than a decade, the brothers have devoted countless hours, enormous resources, and unwavering determination to solving one of history's greatest mysteries. Season after season, every discovery has brought new hope, only to be followed by more unanswered questions. Now, they find themselves closer than ever before, not beyond the barrier, not inside the hidden chamber, but standing only a short distance from what could become the most significant breakthrough in the history of Oak Island. Rick's expression reflects years of persistence. It carries the weight of every setback, every criticism, and every unanswered question that has defined the search. More than anything, it reflects the realization that he has reached a place no previous expedition is believed to have accessed. Marty, always the practical thinker, remains focused on the evidence. Throughout the investigation, he has insisted on facts over speculation, allowing the discoveries to speak for themselves. Now, after following the clues to a hidden tunnel ending at what appears to be a sealed metal barrier, even he cannot ignore what is in front of him. The evidence has led them here. Quietly, Rick looks toward the entrance and says, "We're going to find out what's behind that door. Whatever has been hidden there all this time could completely change our understanding of Oak Island and the people who built this place." Marty simply nods before replying, "Tomorrow." One word, yet it carries the anticipation of 13 seasons, a hidden tunnel, a mysterious metal barrier, a space that may exist beyond it. Everything has led to this moment. The ancient roadway discovered in the swamp, the medieval artifacts, the underground scans, the collapsed shafts, and years of investigation have all pointed toward a single destination. Whether the treasure is worth millions of dollars, or something even more valuable from a historical perspective, the significance of this discovery extends far beyond money. Because after centuries of speculation, there finally appears to be something real. A tunnel, a sealed passage, and perhaps a hidden chamber waiting to be explored. Now it's your turn. What do you think lies behind the mysterious metal barrier? Could it be the legendary Knights Templar treasure, priceless religious relics, forgotten historical records, or something no one has even imagined? Share your theory in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this investigation, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into history's greatest unsolved mysteries. Until next time, the tunnel has been discovered, the mystery has grown even deeper, and whatever waits beyond that hidden barrier may finally reveal the truth behind Oak Island.